Rise and shine, everyone. Welcome to Hot Topics, the Don Lemon Show here on the Don Lemon channel, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Substack, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you get your streaming. And we are happy that you're here and here in such numbers. Wow, look, already you guys are here. And can you believe, guys, I'm here and it's not even, what time is it? Is this like 8 after? This is kind of like starting on time for us. So I want to put this up, show you what we're monitoring this morning. By the way, like and thumbs up. It does affect the algorithm. More people become aware of our channel and our conversation. And that's very important for the moment that we're in, because you know we're independent media, independent journalism, and we give it to you straight without corporate influence or any of that stuff. So thank you for joining us this morning. I want to make sure, there we go, straighten that out. Thank you for joining us this morning. Again, I'm on the road, as you can see, as always, trying to bring you the news from different places. And I'm going to talk to some people where I am. And you're going to see what's up, what's happening in the world as it relates to gas prices and how people are feeling about the war. I'm sure you've been seeing some of our social media things that we've been putting up with people who have very strong opinions about what's happening with Iran. But one of the interesting things is that I just want to tell you real quickly before I get to the news. I stopped, this woman was going into a supermarket and I wanted to ask her, like, hey, when you come out, can you tell me about the prices or whatever? And I said, I just want to talk to you. I said, ma'am, can I talk to you? And she said, not right now. About what though? What? And I said, about the war in Iran. It's easy. And she goes, that's not easy. And I said, yeah, it's easy because people have a very strong opinion about it. And when people have very strong opinions about things, it's easy for them to voice them. If you don't, then you're like, I don't really know about it or whatever. And then I think she kind of got it, but she didn't. If there's a subject that you have very strong opinions about, all you have to do is say, I have really strong opinions about this. So anyways, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So welcome to the Don Lemon Show. We are watching two hearings. We can call them warring hearings on Capitol Hill, both in front of Senate committees. There's Markwayne Mullin there. He is being nominated for ICE Barbie's job, Kristi Noem's position that she still holds, but is not really active in. Just kind of, she's just a figurehead at the moment until Markwayne Mullin is confirmed or not. Chances are he will be confirmed to be the next head of Homeland Security. So we'll see what happens. A controversial figure. He's speaking right now. And at the bottom, this one is for Tulsi Gabbard, who's the director of national intelligence. And she has been under fire somewhat for what happened yesterday. Joe Kent, who is her director of counterterrorism, resigned, saying that he couldn't in good faith continue on because he's against the war in Iran. And he said, in essence, he believes that this is more Israel's war than our war, and that, meaning America's war. And then he said that, what did he say? He said that there were coalitions and factions who were are pro-Israel coalitions and factions who were pushing the president into attacking Iran. By the way, he is a vehement anti-Semite. And as anyone will tell you, we had Steve Schmidt on yesterday. I'll say it, he's Jew-hating. But anyways, it's a big move for the Trump administration. And then so you see we have Tel Aviv and Beirut, so we're watching what's happening in Iran. But just to give you an idea of what's going on, let's see, can we listen in to Markwayne Mullin for a little bit to hear what he's saying? And then there's been a fiery, contentious back and forth between him and Rand Paul. It did not, and Rand Paul is running this hearing. It did not start off cordially, even from a Republican. And so here he is. Let's listen.
I would try to clear it up for you.
We'll continue to work on that.
Thank you.
After DHS officers shot and killed 2 American citizens this past January, you joined top administrative officials in publicly blaming and disparaging.
By the way, hit the like and thumbs up, please.
Following the killing of Renee Good, Secretary Noem called her a domestic terrorist. You, sir, you called Alex Preddy, quote, a deranged individual that came in to cause max damage. Could we expect those kinds of quick responses if you are confirmed as secretary? Would you be basically, well, you responded as Secretary Noem. Are we going to just expect that same behavior all over again?
No, Senator. I have a deep amount of respect for you. We've had our differences, but I do respect you. I think I said this privately when we had a conversation. Those words probably should have been retracted. I shouldn't have said that, and as secretary, I wouldn't. The investigation is ongoing. And there is, like I said, there's sometimes going to make a mistake, and I'll own it. That one, I went out there too fast. I was responding immediately without the facts. That's my fault. That won't happen as secretary.
So you regret that statement?
I already said that, yes, sir.
Would you want to apologize to the family of Alex Preddy?
Well, sir, I just said I regret those statements.
Is that the same
It's
as
not an apology.
I haven't seen the investigation. We'll let the investigation go through, and if I'm proven wrong, then I will absolutely.
How would you characterize your relationship with President Trump?
He's a friend.
A
How
friend.
frequently have you spoken with him in the past year?
Often, most of the time about my family. If you want to explain the friendship, I'll tell you. My wife will tell you the same thing. When someone loves your kids when they're going through a difficult time, like we have, the amount of outpouring of support from the president and the friendship we saw going back to 2000 or 2020 was quite remarkable. And so I speak to the president from a friend level more than I do a policy level.
Okay. I have more questions, but my time is up.
Thank you, Senator.
We'll be doing it in a second round. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so that is the questioning of Markwayne Mullin this morning on the Hill, and we're going to get back to that. But I did something, and I'm always very transparent with you guys. I was supposed to do this before the show started, so I'm going to do it now, and then we're going to get back to that hearing. But this is really important because this is how I usually start my day, and it is very important because our sponsors actually, we want to thank them for keeping this show going. They're very important to us, very important to you, Lemon Nation, that you have this community. So support for the show comes from 120 Life. I've been paying more attention to my health lately, and blood pressure is one of those things that you can't afford to ignore. A lot of people do not even know that they have high blood pressure until it becomes a real problem. My grandmother dealt with it. My mom is dealing with it now. And that's why I want to tell you about 120 Life. It is a once-a-day drink made with superfruit juices that helps support healthy blood pressure. It's not a pill. It's not chalky, and easy to make part of your routine. So go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com. And you can use the code. My code is DON, D-O-N, for 20% off. You can try it for risk-free. It's risk-free for 2 weeks. If your blood pressure does not come down, you're going to get a full refund. And I do need to tell you this, again, full transparency. These statements have not been approved by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So you always check with your doctors. Now, let's get back to the program because I want to talk about Rand Paul and what's going on, Rand Paul and Markwayne Mullin and all of this, Lemon Nation. So we have a very busy news morning here. Most of it is in Washington. Some of it is in the Middle East. I just want to tell you that the average diesel price, as we watch these hearings, both of them, Tulsi Gabbard and Markwayne Mullin, as we're speaking, so much turmoil going on in the world. Nationally, the U.S. stands at $5.05. That's for diesel, $5.05 a gallon this morning, a whopping 38% increase from just a month ago. And Ice Barbie's replacement is testifying on before the Senate right now. Now, this comes as a Department of Homeland Security Secretary now, Kristi Noem, has been ousted, not for hiring a paramilitary group of ICE thugs to go into Minneapolis and shoot U.S. citizens, more so because she allegedly pushed hundreds of millions of dollars to her friends in government contracts and purchased a multi-million-dollar flying booty call shack, or some people call it the F-plane, with her lover, Corey Lewandowski, allegedly. Her alleged lover, Corey Lewandowski, or even reported lover, Corey Lewandowski. But that brings me to the present. Our government is in the midst of a partial government shutdown right now. And this could not be a more dangerous position as we face enormous threats to the homeland thanks to the war in Iran. Sadly, it looks like Senator Markwayne Mullin, by the way, Markwayne, first name, one word, will not be that different from Kristi Noem, other than carrying on an affair with Corey Lewandowski. I doubt that will happen, but one never knows. He became famous on the show for his abject lunacy, and I want to play this, and then we're going to get into the back and forth between him and Rand Paul.
I don't buckle up. And the reason why I don't buckle up, and people can say whatever they want to, they can raise their eyebrows at me again, is because of carjacking. How about we teach Jesus loves me? Red and yellow, black and white, they're all precious in our sight. Now, I don't want reality. I'm asking the question, which one is better? That's exactly what it is. War is ugly. It smells bad.
Leadership.
This is war, and we're taking out the threat.
You'll concede this is war.
We haven't declared war. And Ayatollah is going to be sent to what, I guess, receive his 77 virgins, if that's really a thing. There was a sweetheart plea deal that was made underneath the Obama administration with Epstein.
Right. It was 2008.
This is why there probably has to be a larger deployment of National Guard to protect federal agents from doing their job, or to be able to let them do their job. What if you showed up drunk to your job? How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have.
Do you describe this as regime change?
No. What we did is we took out an illegitimate president. He was never duly elected. So there can't be regime change if he should have never been put in place to begin with.
Was his vice president duly elected?
I don't know how their elections happened. I don't know if they're on the same ticket or separate. I don't know how that works. But, sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
And that is who they want to be the head of Homeland Security. Let's dip in just for a moment and see what's happening in that hearing.
I need a paycheck. I'm going to skip the second one. Go to the third one. Biological and nuclear threat prevention. That seems important. That seems like an agency we should fund. 200 employees, not getting a paycheck. That's okay with the Democrats.
Okay, so he's talking about
next one,
the shutting down of the government, which is nothing to do with him being confirmed. Okay, so that's just a pure partisan ploy that they're doing that. Antics. Okay, as by the way, the whole thing about the 77 virgins or seven virgins, people are always asked, is it 77 virgins or is it seven virgins? It's actually 72 virgins, but guess what? Just so you know, I'm just fact checking, okay? Because I believe in facts. It is not found in the Quran, all right? Now, it originates up from a specific, less authoritative hadith narrations. And so it doesn't specifically appear in the Quran, but anyways, the right wing is taking that to mean whatever they want it to mean. So let's move on. So if you're not familiar with Markwayne Mullin, also, he became well known for trying to get into a fight with the president of the Teamsters. You saw that at the end of that clip that we saw there. This one is more in depth during a committee hearing. Watch this.
Now, let's talk about Mr. O'Brien himself, his behavior. As everybody knows, and it's here, and the last time, him and I kind of had a back and forth. But after you left here, you got pretty excited about the keyboard. In fact, you tweeted at me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond? Mr.
Hold it.
Bernie Sanders is right. You're a United States Senator. Act like it. What has happened to especially the MAGA folks? These are the people that they elect to office, people who want to fight with heads of agencies, people who want to fight with political rivals. This was the biggest, no, you hit me. No, you hit me. No, you hit me. No, you stand up. No, you stand up. You stand up. I mean, they should just kiss. Because what it really sounds like is like, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. It's ridiculous. And considering all the turmoil that's happening in the world, in the United States, but lately in the world, you would think that our elected representatives would have at least a modicum of couth. and dignity. But again, as I will keep pointing out, that is the man, that is the person that they want to be in charge of our security, in charge of the Department of Homeland Security. Do you feel secure with Markwayne? It's not Markwayne, it's Markwayne. It's one word, Mullin. So hopefully that might be something to look forward to today. Maybe they'll get in a fight, especially because Mullin has beef with the guy who is presiding over the hearing right now, and that's Rand Paul. He has called Rand Paul a freaking snake. And the quote is, "I respect Bernie Sanders because he's an open socialist, and you know that he's a communist, so you know what you're getting. Rand Paul is a freaking snake." And then, according to Rand Paul and the reports, he mocked Rand Paul when he was attacked by a neighbor and said that he deserved it. Senator Rand Paul actually just moments ago called Mullin out for that personal attack. It's a bit long, but I think you'll find it interesting.
Complications led to an infection in the space between my lung and chest wall. I spent a week in the hospital having the infection lavaged every 6 hours through a chest tube. Recently, Senator Mullin, if you have time to listen, you were confronted by constituents that were angry because you voted against my amendment to stop all funding for refugee welfare programs. Instead of explaining your vote to continue these welfare programs for refugees, you decided to transfer the blame. You told the media that I was a freaking snake and that you completely understood why I had been assaulted. I was shocked that you would justify and celebrate this violent assault that caused me so much pain and my family so much pain. I just wonder if someone who applauds violence against their political opponents is the right person to lead an agency that has struggled to accept limits to the proper use of force. Being confronted by your constituents. But Senator Mullin, your constituents are justifiably upset with you. By now, most of America knows that the Somali welfare fraud in Minnesota stole over $9 billion. But instead of defending your vote, you took to continue the vote to continue these refugee welfare programs. You chose to lash out at me. You went on to brag that you'd already told me to my face that you completely understood and approved of the assault. Well, that's a lie. You got a chance today. You can either continue to lie or you can correct the record. You have never had the courage to look me in the eye and tell me that the assault was justified. So today you'll have your chance. Today I'll give you that chance to clear the record. Tell it to my face. If that's what you believe, tell it to me today. Tell the world why you believe I deserve to be assaulted from behind, have 6 ribs broken and a damaged lung. Tell me to my face why you think I deserved it. And while you're at it, explain to the American public why they should trust a man with anger issues to set the proper example for ICE and Border Patrol agents. Explain to the American public how a man who has no regrets about brawling in a Senate committee can set a proper example for over 250,000 men and women who work at the Department of Homeland Security.
What the hell is going on? You think they're going to come to fisticuffs in the Senate today? That could happen. By the way, just a pause. We're going to take a pause from Markwayne Mullin. I just want to take you to the bottom of your screen, the one closest to me on the left, bottom left of your screen, or kind of center of the page. That is Tulsi Gabbard, who is the Director of National Intelligence, which is just shocking that I have to say Director of National Intelligence. If there was a person who was any less qualified, I don't know who that would be and for any of these positions. But apparently she's reading her open statement. We just want to hear it for a second, and then we'll dip in. We'll go back to the other one.
TCOs like the Sinaloa cartel and Jalisco New Generation cartel dominate the production and smuggling of fentanyl, heroin, meth, and cocaine into the United States. Colombia-based DCOs and illegal armed groups like the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia and the National Liberation Army are responsible for producing and trafficking large volumes of cocaine.
So apparently she's talking about what happens at keeping the homeland secure and drugs not coming over the border, but she mentioned Venezuela, and she's talking about fentanyl from Venezuela. That is a lie. Venezuela is not a big producer, if at all, of fentanyl, okay? And then the top of the screen, We probably want to listen into this. This is the Markwayne Mullin hearing, and this is Senator Maggie Hassan, who is questioning Markwayne Mullin. Let's just listen for a second.
The local community, and I'll work with you in your office. I won't be able to speak to that until I understand the risk and the reason behind delivering the mission that's set in front of us. We got to protect the homeland, and we're going to do that. But obviously, we want to work with community leaders. We want to be good partners, and we're going to work in your state as hard to make sure we build relationships and work in that manner.
Well, look, I will be here for a second round of questions because I have a lot more. But let me just point this out. Americans want to secure their country.
I agree.
We all love this country. We all know we need to be safe, secure, and we all want to be free together. The people of New Hampshire will take into consideration a request by ICE and the federal government to do its part. But transparency and local control and respect of local people throughout New Hampshire and throughout the country is an essential piece of our democracy. And what I've been hearing from ICE and from other DHS folks is, well, the pushback's too hard. You either can make the case for these facilities and explain how you're going to support the local community and deal with the fact that they'll lose property tax dollars, for instance, or if you can't make the case, it shouldn't be built. So I really would encourage the department and all of us to remember that this is a government of by and for the people, and if you can't make the case to the people, you shouldn't be doing it. Thank you.
All right, that's Senator Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire, and of course she's saying they want to send in federal agents into New Hampshire and do it similarly to what they did in Minnesota. Back now to Mr. Markwayne Mullin. All right. Rand Paul, you heard what he said. Markwayne Mullin moments ago responded to Rand Paul. Here it is.
Senator Mullin, you are recognized for your opening statement.
I think before I can start my opening statement, I have to address the remarks that the chairman made, calling me a liar. Sir, I think everybody in this room knows that I'm very blunt and direct to the point, and if I have something to say, I'll say it directly to your face. If you recall, back in my House days, we actually did have this conversation because of the remarks that I've made. You were in a room. I simply addressed that I said I could understand because of the behavior you were having, that I could understand why the neighbor did what he did. As far as my terms of the snake in the grass, sir, I work around this room to try to fix problems. I've worked with many people in this room. Seems like you fight Republicans more than you work with us. I did address those remarks. I did explain your gimmicks by the amendment you put forth. And as far as me saying that I invoke violence, I don't. I don't think anybody should be hit by surprise. I don't like that. But if I do have something to say, everybody in this room knows I'll come straight to you. I'll say it publicly and I'll say it privately, but I'll never say it behind your back. So for you to say, I'm a liar, sir, that's not accurate.
Okay.
And I got proof to say that because you have spent millions of dollars in my campaigns against me because we just don't get along. However, sir, that doesn't keep me at all from doing my job. I can have different opinions with everybody in this room, but as Secretary of Homeland, I'll be protecting everybody, including Kentucky, as much as I will my own backyard in Oklahoma. It's bigger than the partisan bickering that we have. It's bigger than the political differences we have. The truth is, I have a job to do, and I don't like to fail at anything, at all. So I can set it aside if you're willing to set it aside. Let me earn your respect. Let me earn the job. I won't fail you. I won't back down from a challenge. And I'll also admit when I'm wrong. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I make mistakes just like anybody else. But mistakes, if you own them, you can learn from them and you can move ahead. And I'll make that commitment to you.
Now, do we know how Rand Paul responded? I'm not sure what he said because I'm all for, an olive branch if it's deserved. So my response right out of that would have said, thank you, Senator Mullin. I appreciate that. But it would have meant more, and I would have believed it, and you'd have more credibility had you said that to me before you needed my approval for a job. if you had just come to me as a man before and said, you know what, I shouldn't have said that, I'm sorry. Because that's what people do when they realize that they've done something terrible. You know what, I've done it all the time. I've popped off at people and then I say, you know what, it's very tense in that moment or whatever. Let me just tell you, I'm really sorry. I did not mean that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think the words ring hollow. I think he said the right thing there, but do you think that I'm wrong? You tell me if you think that I'm wrong in this. But I think that, you know, I want to hear what Rand Paul said afterwards. And let me know when we have it or if we have it, Andy, because I think we might have some of it, but this is some interesting stuff between these guys. Do we have his response at all?
I'm still downloading them.
Still downloading. Okay, just yell in my ear when you get it. So that, you know, that's what I want to hear from this hearings. And as we wait on that, because I know you guys want to hear it as well, Andy, just stop downloading, and I'm just going to get a break in because I think it's important. I do want to hear from Rand Paul, and I want to hear from Markwayne Mullin, because that's some good stuff. That tells you what character and what this person may be like on the job. But I need to tell you that support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. You know, I talk a lot on this show about accountability, and that includes how power is used in this country. As we're following these hearings now, how is power used? Right now, we are watching a growing effort to blur the line between church and state, in schools, in laws, and in politics. The Freedom from Religion Foundation is pushing back by challenging unconstitutional policies and defending the separation of church and state. If you believe government should work for everybody, not just one religion, well, I want you to visit ffrf.us/Don. That's F as in Frank, F as in Frank, rf.us/Don, or you can text Don to 511-511. ffrf.us/Don, or text Don to 511-511. Text fees may apply. Support for the show also comes from Shopify. So when I started building the Don Lemon Show, building a business really, which I had not done before, I learned very quickly that there are a whole lot of moving parts. It comes with running your own company, your own business. That's why Shopify is a real game changer, everyone. Shopify powers millions of businesses around the world and gives everything you need in one place to help you. We use Shopify here at the Don Lemon Show for our merch. It helps make selling online a whole lot easier. You can build your store, you can manage inventory, you can run campaigns, and use built-in tools that save you time. If you are ready to start and grow your business, then you are ready to go and get Shopify. Go to shopify.com/lemon for your $1 per month trial. That's shopify.com/lemon for your $1 per month trial. Thank you to our sponsors. Okay. Oh, thank you, Andy, for getting the ting in. I appreciate that. Now, back to the hearing. And again, we're following a couple of hearings. Let's put up the live thing. Tulsi Gabbard at the bottom in a Senate committee. Markwayne Mullin, who is trying to take, he's being nominated to take over for Kristi Noem. He's at the top. There, you see that. And we're following everything that's happening in Iran. We're going to discuss Iran more directly in just a bit here. But here is Senator Rand Paul responding to the so-called olive branch from Markwayne Mullin, who said that he deserved to be beat up and hurt and injured. Here it is.
Sheer lack of any kind of self-awareness that you're going to be leading thousands of men and women who will have the use of force, and there's been great questions in our country about how that will be used, and you think a violent attack is just fine. So I guess my first question is, do you think that justifying that kind of violence sets a good example for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol?
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I didn't know the extent of your damage. When the phone call was made, I made it to you and I tried to talk to you. You didn't engage at all. In fact, you said, get your paperwork in. It's got to be 3 days in between.
You offered no apology.
Sir?
And you offer no apology today and no regrets. Haven't heard the word apologize, haven't heard the word regret, haven't heard I misspoke and it was heated and I made a mistake. Haven't heard any of those words.
Sir, actually, it wasn't heated, and I'm not apologizing for pointing out your character.
Good. So you're jolly well fine, and you want the American public and the people up here to vote, that may or may not vote for you, to know that you supported the felonious, violent attack on me from behind.
I did not say I supported it. I said I understood it. There's a difference.
Oh, so
that
means you really didn't approve of it, just completely understand it. What do you think most people would interpret completely understand to be? Support for or a condemnation of the violence?
Sir, as I said, we can have our differences. It's not going to keep me from doing my job as Secretary of Homeland Security. I'm going to secure Kentucky and take care of Kentucky as much as I am Oklahoma.
If this were a one-off, it would be one thing. If you just disliked me so much that you approved of violence against me, people could just write it off. Well, maybe they hate each other. But really, there's a pattern of this. Let's go.
Okay. And that's where we are right now on that one. It continued. It went into character assassination. Watch this.
In the days after the fight, you said, and I quote, "Sometimes people just need to be punched in the face." Is that still your opinion, that political disputes can sometimes and often only be resolved by violence?
No, I don't always agree with that. I don't believe in political violence. I've made that very clear. But sometimes people do need, theoretically speaking, sir, I get it. It's about character assassination for you. That's the way this game is played. I understand it. And you are making this about you, which is fine, but that doesn't keep me as Secretary of Homeland Security.
Character assassination when you were the one lauding the assault. Who do you think started that character assassination? I'm just repeating what you have done in character assassination. I'm repeating your support for the assault. So that's somehow something I started?
No, sir. What I'm saying is you're adding a lot to it.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Not the end. Stand your butt up. Maybe Rand Paul should stand up. Okay, we're going to get back to Rand Paul. There was more back and forth, but now I want to get to Senator Blumenthal because he is questioning Markwayne Mullin right now.
The United States of America, where they have been subjected to conditions that would outrage and have angered many Americans. We're here because of a lawless and reckless agency that has broken into homes without judicial approval, shot United States citizens, detained them without any cause, and sometimes killed them. And I am looking for real substantive reform in that agency, as you and I have discussed when you came to talk to me, a break with the past, with former Secretary Noem and with the White House, Steve Miller and others who have used Kristi Noem in effect as a puppet to implement lawless policy. I welcome that you have stated you regret your statement after the killing of Alex Preddy. You said on Fox News, quote, "Unfortunately, an individual, a deranged individual that came to cause max damage with a loaded pistol with an extra mag that was completely loaded and shot and killed." And you regret that statement, do you not?
I've already said that, sir, yes.
And what about what you said about Renee Good after she was shot and killed? You appeared on CNN and you were asked whether you believed the shooting was justified, and you replied, quote, "Absolutely." Do you regret that statement as well?
Senator, it's very clear that an officer had to make a split decision in that case as a car was running towards him and did strike him. At that point, that car becomes a lethal weapon. And an officer that there was another officer obviously giving her verbal commands.
So are you saying, and I apologize for interrupting you, but
yes,
you're saying you do not regret that statement?
I'm saying that the investigation is going on, but what we've seen...
There is no investigation, Senator. In fact, that was my next question to you.
Senator,
don't you think there should be an investigation?
My understanding is that there is. I will find out if I'm able to get confirmed. But those are two different incidences.
The Department of Homeland Security and the Trump administration has blocked state and local investigation of the killing of Renee Good. And I hope that you will permit that investigation to go forward.
Senator, state and local investigation doesn't investigate federal. FBI does that through DOJ. And I believe the FBI is looking at this case. And I do want to say something to you. What you said about the terrible conditions that this administration is putting in kids. But what you left out is that they've actually recovered over 160,000 kids that were trafficked or lost during the Biden administration. What is inhumane is the 12 to 13,000 individuals coming across the border every single day, and we're not having tracked the kids. At one time, the number was up to 385,000, and that's sad.
Because you said that you were going to be, and I'm quoting you, blunt and direct and to the point. So I regret that you don't retract that statement about Renee Good. But I want to ask you about a statement that was made regarding the Preddy killing by Steve Miller in the White House. He said, quote, that Preddy was a domestic terrorist who, quote, tried to assassinate federal law enforcement. Don't you think it was irresponsible and reckless for Stephen Miller to post that claim on X without any evidence, just as you have retracted your statement?
Senator, I believe that question is better asked to Stephen Miller, not myself. I can't speak for him.
Well, Stephen Miller also said, again on Fox News, quote, under President Trump's leadership, we are looking to set a goal of a minimum of 3,000 arrests for ICE every day. If you're confirmed, are you going to be directing ICE to arrest 3,000 people a day?
Sir, once again, can't speak for Senator or for Stephen Miller, but I can say the President has tapped me to be the Secretary of Homeland, and I will lead that department, and I'll lead it.
So will you continue that arrest quota of 3,000 people a day?
No quota has been set for me, sir.
Well, in effect, it's a quota if the White House directs the DHS Secretary
The
to
President of the United
3,000
States sets
people a
the
day.
policies, and I'll be working with the President. If you have a question for Stephen Miller, please
Well, I
ask
really
him.
regret that you are going to stick to those same policies and practices and condone the statements of the White House that are so demeaning to someone who was a victim of lawlessness and recklessness by an ICE officer.
Senator, I didn't say that.
Well, let me
you're
ask
putting
you
words in my
then
mouth.
a different question. ICE has been breaking into people's homes without any judicial warrant. The sanctity of our homes is absolutely critical.
This is
I
true.
think you'd agree with that point. And it is the law that a judicial warrant is required to forcibly enter someone's home. Kristi Noem acknowledged in her testimony in response to my questions that at least 28 break-ins have occurred. My ranking member leadership on the subcommittee for permanent investigation has produced a report that shows probably many more such break-ins have occurred. The result of a memo last May from the acting director, Todd Lyons, and it's behind me now, that instructed ICE agents to break into homes. I understand that during your staff interview last week, you said that there would be no more such break-ins to people's homes without a judicial warrant. If confirmed, will you commit to me and the chair and ranking member of this committee and the American people that ICE will no longer instruct agents to break into people's homes without a judicial warrant?
Sir, you're using the word break into people's houses very loosely. However, I have made it very clear to the staff, and I think when you and I spoke, that a judicial warrants will be used to go into houses, into place of businesses, unless we're pursuing someone that enters in that place. I have not mixed words with that, and I haven't changed my opinion about that.
A whistleblower testified to our hearing that, in fact, ICE agents have been instructed as part of their training to forcibly enter. I know you don't like the word break-in, but forcibly enter is breaking into somebody's home, bashing down the door, terrorizing children, instructed them to adopt this policy. Will you commit that no longer will ICE agents or CBP agents be instructed to forcibly enter people's homes without a judicial warrant?
Sir, I've already answered this question for you. I said we will not enter a home or a place of business without a judicial warrant unless we're pursuing the individual that runs into a place of business or a house.
Senator Langford.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a very important part of the hearing
Markwayne,
because
right now, is FEMA currently funded?
No,
That
sir.
is,
Is this,
it's
currently
very
funded
important
dealing with
because homes, you can
cybersecurity?
turn it down,
No,
please,
sir.
Andy. It's very important because people's homes have been broken into. U.S. citizens who are people who were born here, and they were born American U.S. citizens. Some of them naturalized U.S. citizens. Some of them had gotten their citizenship through legal means. Their homes have been broken into, reportedly. And not just reportedly, we've seen it. I spoke to people when I was out there who were American citizens, and their people busted into their homes, took them out, and took them into detention. And so I think it's really important to hear what Senator Blumenthal was saying there, because our homes, there should be sanctity in the home. People shouldn't just be allowed to bust into your home and pull you out for no apparent reason except they think that you might not be an American citizen. They think that you may be undocumented. You have an accent that is Hispanic. You are brown and you look Hispanic. That should not happen in America. That should not happen in America. In the meantime, more on this contentious back and forth between Rand Paul and Markwayne Mullin. No love lost here. Play it.
In the days after the fight, you did many interviews in which you justified the violence as historically justified by precedents, such as caning and dueling. Is it today your opinion that the caning of Charles Sumner was not only justified, but argues still for resolving our political differences with violence?
What I was simply pointing out is some of the rules that still apply to this body. For instance, dueling with two consenting adults is still there. I was pointing out what is
It's been
still
illegal
acceptable.
for 170 years. There's no precedent for legal dueling. Even then, they fled the country. Do you realize that the man that beat Charles Sumner with a cane, he beat him till he was unconscious? You know why no senators intervened? Because his friend held a gun on the other senators, and he kept beating him until he crushed his skull. That's what you're insinuating as the president of the Senate, and that's what you live by. That is a very, very dangerous sentiment.
Wow. Okay, and that wasn't the end of it. I think for all of this, we're just getting started. But wowza. The other key hearing that I told you about is at the bottom of your screen there, and that is for the DNI chief, Tulsi Gabbard. On the surface, she is testifying for her annual worldwide threat assessment, but obviously the main focus is going to be her right-hand man. That's going to be a big part of it, which is Joe Kent, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, resigned in protest over Donald Trump's handling of the Iran war, saying basically he couldn't do it. The last time Tulsi Gabbard had this annual hearing was just days immediately after Signalgate, and so she can't catch a break, right? And when these things happen in mid-March. But back to Kent, he resigned despite being a devout Trump loyalist and someone who probably had a bright future in the MAGA movement, because he says, and I quote from him, he cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. And if you want evidence that more of the MAGA grassroots is not happy with Donald Trump, I want you to take a listen. This is probably, I was discussing it with my team, one of the best sound bites that we have ever run. Roll it.
Let's take a listen to one more woman who we spoke with. If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You are a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
She's a Pennsylvania voter. But let me just say this. It's not just what she said about him. It is the apparently I'm an idiot comeback that is the best. Andy, please roll it again. Everybody listen.
Let's take a listen to one more woman who we spoke with. If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You are a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
I mean, amen, lady. 3 times, though. And she's probably right about herself, but that's pretty amazing. Yeah, accountability is good. Accountability is good. The replay is so black. Laughing my ass off, someone says. Yeah, it is. Anyways, I'm going to move on. I want to talk about other things, but first I want to get a word in from our sponsors, and then we're back with the program because support for the show today comes from BetterHelp. So March is a time to celebrate women, but it's also a good time to recognize just how much women carry every single day. I think about my mom all the time, and I think about what she's done. She's always been the steady center of our family, always showing up and always giving everybody else therapy and, of her own. But therapy from a professional can be a space to give something back to yourself. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp makes it easy right here. You fill out a questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and if it is not the right fit, you can switch, and you can do it at any time. So visit betterhelp.com/DonLemon. You get 10% off there of your first month. That's betterhelp.com/DonLemon. Again, you get 10% off of your first month. So support for the show also comes from one of my favorites, and that's Graza. This episode of the Don Lemon Show brought to you by Graza, and I love to cook and I love to host. So trust me when I tell you that good olive oil, if you're a cook, really matters. Okay, all the ingredients matter, but olive oil really matters. Graza has become my go-to because it's fresh, it's flavorful, it's easy to use every day. I keep sizzle for cooking, drizzle for finishing, and they have frizzle. It's for high heat cooking. I did a stir fry for Tim the other night. Right after the show, he's like, "Can you come in here and cook for me? I don't know, it's sparking everywhere." And I'm like, "You're not doing it right." He was trying to put, what he was doing? Sorry to go off on this. He had some frozen vegetables and he kept putting it in the grease. And I'm like, you have to thaw those out so that it doesn't spark. But anyways, I cooked it. High heat with the frizzle turned out amazing. So you can taste the difference when you use Graza. And honestly, the bottle looks great on your counter too. So Graza also has mayo, aioli made with their olive oil, and they are really, really good. So go to graza.co and use the code LEMON to get 20% off of your first order. That's Graza, graza.co, and the code is LEMON. Thank you so much to our sponsors. So as we were watching these hearings happening on Capitol Hill, it's interesting because they're both Senate and they're both contentious. Tulsi Gabbard is really facing huge challenges as it relates to the national intelligence, the Department of National Intelligence. She is the director of national intelligence. I want to listen now because Senator Mark Warner is questioning her. We're going to listen in just for a little bit to see what they're talking about.
That the FBI had it approved, their warrant approved by a local judge, and they began to execute this. To address your question, sir, about the foreign nexus question, in order for us to better understand the vulnerabilities in our election systems that may exist today as we look to 2026, and yes, we are very focused on trying to make sure that this election is one that the American people have
Director
faith,
Gabbard, I've got a number of questions. Director Gabbard, I have a number of questions. Let me ask my next question, please. You have not provided any of the required reports or briefings to this committee on foreign interference. This is the first threat assessment since 2017 that didn't even mention foreign interference. Last year, when you were already confirmed, it mentioned it at high level. Are you saying there is no foreign threat to our elections in the midterms this year?
As I stated in the outset of my remarks, this year's annual threat assessment matches the prioritization of threats and
Please answer the question, yes or no. Is there foreign threat interference to our elections this year?
Laid out.
Are there foreign?
Please allow me to answer the question, sir. The intelligence community has been and continues to remain focused on any collection and intelligence products that show a potential foreign threat for those who are
so far there has been none then because you've made no reports.
System.
Excuse me, ma'am. If you want to ask the questions, you should have stayed in Congress. Please answer the question.
I didn't ask you a question, sir. I'm trying to answer your questions.
So you're saying the failure to provide any reports or the failure to have any mention of a foreign threat assessment, I would draw the conclusion there must be no foreign threat to our elections in 26. So that brings me a question that I have for both you, ma'am, and Director Patel. There are reports that in 2020, the president was preparing an executive order to potentially seize ballots or bring in federal forces. There is a published report that there is a similar EO being drafted right now about 2026, citing China. Director Patel, do you have any knowledge of that draft EO?
Thank you, Vice Chairman. I do not, sir.
Director Gabbard, do you have any?
I do not.
Thank you. Let me move to Iran. Now, I understand, and I appreciated, Director Gabbard, your comments yesterday about agreeing that the president has sole authority, I guess, in his bones to declare whether something is an imminent threat. I didn't agree with your friend, Mr. Kent, but I didn't, again, I agreed with him yesterday on the fact that there was no imminent threat. I guess what I'm concerned about, one thing is, even in your printed testimony today on page 6, and your last paragraph on page 6, as a result of Operation Midnight Hammer, Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated. There's been no efforts to try to rebuild their enrichment capability. You omitted that paragraph from your oral opening. Was that because the president had said there was an imminent threat 2 weeks?
No, sir, I recognize that the time was running long, and I skipped through some of the portions
So you chose to take
of my oral delivered remarks.
You chose to omit the parts that contradict the president. The president continues to say as well that, you know, he had no idea, was shocked that the Iranians had moved to take over the Strait of Hormuz. Did you provide any intelligence that would say that it would be that it was not likely that the Iranians would try to move on the strait?
I'm not aware of those remarks, and I think those of us here at the table can point to the fact that historically the Iranians have always threatened to leverage their control over
But why would
the
the
Strait
president
of
say he was
Hormuz.
amazed? Or,
I'm not aware of those remarks.
What about the comments the president made that thought that he was surprised again, reports that Iran struck the adjacent Gulf states?
Again, I'm not aware of those remarks. We have
Well,
been
let me
and
ask you this.
continue to
Did
provide
you brief the president? Did you brief the president? Did you brief the president if he starts a war of choice that the likely result would be that Iran would strike adjacent Gulf nations and close the Strait of Hormuz? Did you brief him on those two facts that I think have been consistently the assumptions of the intelligence community?
I have not and won't divulge internal conversations. I will say that those of us within the intelligence community continue to provide the president with all of the best objective intelligence available to inform his decisions.
Senator Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, God.
Director Gabbard, you just testified that ISIS and al-Qaeda are significantly weaker. And reflecting that view, you have devoted declining budgets, personnel, and emphasis on countering terrorism. Yet, the fact is that ISIS is growing and operating in Somalia, Afghanistan, Syria, Pakistan, and Iraq. Al-Qaeda is surging in Afghanistan, the Arabian Peninsula, and throughout Central Africa. The Houthis in Yemen and the rest of the Iranian proxies remain a serious threat. Focusing, as you have done, on great power competitors seems to have diverted resources from the fight against terrorism, a fight that's very much still going on. As I have said repeatedly, it is terrorists who want and can kill Americans today. We've just seen the terrorists in Michigan attacking the synagogue. In addition, it appears
Susan
that
Collins.
a more stovepiped
Okay, so what she's saying is really important because the director of national intelligence is saying that ISIS and Al Qaeda, that the threat is diminished, and Susan Collins is saying that is just actually making a pretty good point. I'm sure she's really concerned, and she's going to write a strongly worded letter. But basically, what she's saying is what everyone else has been saying, who is on every single intelligence committee, who has seen all of the intelligence threats or whatever it is, information, and they all say that there is no imminent threat by Iran. Especially towards the United States. And so, Tulsi Gabbard is now humming. Markwayne Mullin is also on the Hill today. He's in the hot seat. Tulsi Gabbard's in the hot seat, but I believe Markwayne Mullin is may get more attention, but depending on Tulsi Gabbard's response, perhaps she'll make news. She did talk a little bit about the election. As she showed up, I think it was in Georgia, in Fulton County, to sort of oversee what's happening with the elections. That's who we should be paying attention to as well, because they're going to try to steal this election. If we can just listen into Markwayne Mullin for a little bit, because he is being questioned.
Yes, but I've also offered something much better. I'll go with you personally and look at it.
That's something that the local community will appreciate, and I hope that you will reassess this with
As
us.
I said in my opening statements, we want to protect the homeland, but we also want peace of mind and bring back confidence to the Department of Homeland Security. And all this means that we got to work on that, and I will work on that.
Senator Scott.
Yeah. Okay. So that was Andy Kim. That was just right there. Who is this? Oh, is this Scott from Florida? Oh my gosh. Do we want to hear this? Let me just hear it a little bit.
President Trump was elected to secure our border, crack down on sanctuary cities, and keep our country safe. I want to thank the president for his leadership and Secretary Noem's help.
Okay, he's kissing
Incredible
Trump's
progress
ass. And
has
the
been
same
made.
thing. Okay,
Our streets
that's
are
right.
safe.
I don't need to hear anymore. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so listen, guys. That's where we are. And look, the world is, as we're watching, there's the White House in Washington, D.C. There's Beirut. We had pictures up of Tel Aviv. The fighting is still going on. Iran is still firing off rockets and still doing strikes. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. Gas prices are up dramatically. Diesel is at an all-time high, $5.05 a gallon. We still have ICE goons out on the streets, robbing people of their due process rights. And the cost of goods still going up. And guess what? What's just as important is that Donald Trump has managed to start a war and get the Epstein files out of the top searches on the internet, which is probably the point. And the media fell for it. If you want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, all you can do is go to donlemon.com. You'll be able to find anything you need there, especially at the top of the page. Check out our show, DL and DL, Anything Goes, coming to a city near you, a city probably facing some high gas prices. Raleigh, North Carolina, Cleveland, Ohio, Boston, Massachusetts, Tysons, Virginia, 4.3 in Raleigh, 4.4 in Cleveland, 4.17 in Boston, and 4.18 in Tysons, Virginia. Also, you can go to donlemon.com, check out all of our pages from the YouTube, which is at the top. You can become a member or subscribe. Subscriptions are free. If you are a member, you can gift memberships to other folks because that helps the viability of our channel. The more members, the more subscribers we have, the better odds we have of being able to continue to do this without fear or favor and without corporate influence. So we really do depend on your generosity to do our jobs, okay? So someone said they're coming to see me in Raleigh. I can't wait. Hope that you get there. So our subscriptions are very reasonable. The lowest tier is $2.99 a month. You guys lose that in the couch cushions, during a month. And coffee every day. Coffee is more than $3. You know that? It's basically $3. Coffee is more than that a day. So very reasonable memberships. $9.99 for our membership tier, the one in the middle where you can actually become you get the private streams and we have private shows for you and we get to talk to you or whatever. And then the highest level of our memberships, which is the legends, you get to be on the program and state your opinion. And sometimes they take over the show. And you know what? I let them. Yeah, someone in the chat said coffee where they are is $6. There we go. Thank you very much for that. To Karen White. Thank you very much. Coffee is like $6. Yes. So anyway, Support the Don Lemon channel, support independent journalists, independent media, and we appreciate it. So also check us out on the Substack. You can become a member or subscribe there, as well as our Twitch as well. Go to twitch.tv/Don Lemon, or just hit the button right there on the Don Lemon Show, right below the name, and there you go. Okay? Our merch store. You can get this shirt that I put on because the weather is starting to get really, really, really nice right now, and I can't wait. So there you go. We have some great stuff on the merch store that you can go check out right there. The gray t-shirt, that's the one that I'm wearing. It's just in white. They come in different colors. I think I'll wear the blue one tomorrow. All right? So be informed without being inundated. Thank you for your support. Until I see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on the Don Lemon Show and the Don Lemon Channel, let me just say this. I had more planned for you, but we had the hearings and we wanted to listen in, and I thought it's pretty interesting. So until I see you back here at 5 o'clock, turn the TV off. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.